I want to talk about cancel culture and where we're at with that. The past week and a half, we seen some Dr. Seuss books get canceled.
That's not facts. That's not facts. You can't say that because they didn't get canceled.
Hold on, real quick.
Okay.
I do want to point out that I do think it's interesting that some of his books were targeted and not him.
How was some of his books targeted?
Did you not hear about this?
No, what happened is Dr. Seuss's kids and the company decided on their own to take away 6 books. They announced it to everybody else, and then the whole world started saying that all these other people demand for books to be canceled, and no one's thinking about Dr. Seuss. They said that themselves. Okay. And I saw this really angry thing, which I tried to correct it because I saw this really angry thing on Instagram where someone was attacking black people and saying, oh, nigga this and nigga that, and that we want to cancel everything, and because Dr. Seuss...
But I don't think it's black people behind it.
It's not. But
I don't
who else
remember ever reading.
Okay, Fantasia.
I don't remember reading at all.
Come on, Fantasia.
I never read no Harry Potter.
But no, that's the thing. He wasn't canceled. They did that on their own.
Some of the cartoons that were popping up though were like, dang,
like
what? Was pretty bad. Like there was some.
Was it really?
Yeah, I mean, so like, it's true that it wasn't public pressure that made Dr. Seuss take out these books. They just climbed in and they looked at their 6 books that. Like back in the day, maybe they could get away with it, but now it's very insensitive. Okay. There was some like imagery that was definitely. I mean, I looked at it and I'm like, anti-cancel culture, and I don't think, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, yeah, like it was definitely stuff that was insensitive, for sure. And if they make the decision to take it off the shelves, then take it off the shelves.
But is it true what they're saying though? He was a racist.
I think probably. Everybody back in those days had some things that are going to be considered racist at that time. But, like, stuff was different back then.
Well, what is that? Because there's I think a larger conversation at hand here. So there's the Dr. Seuss, and then I read that Disney is removing Peter Pan, Aristocats, and Dumbo from their streaming service because of the representation of the Native American people, the crows in Dumbo, and the Siamese cats in Aristocats, which I think Aristocats is the first movie I ever owned on tape. And I think
they try to get rid of Mr. Potato Head.
No, they didn't. They never tried to get rid of Mr. Potato Head. That's still false.
So there's so many things. Well, I want to go to the Pepe LePew thing as well. But let's go back to. All right, let's stay at Mr. Potato Head. What's happening with that?
They rebranded Mr. Potato Head where they say that you can, because they've always had Mr. and Mrs., but they only promoted it kind of as Mr. Okay. Now it's a gender neutral Potato Head, so you can buy all the parts and make whatever one you want.
Well, so that's not because Mr. Potato Head from their official Twitter came out and said we are not getting rid of Mr. Potato Head. There will always be the Mr. Potato Head, but there was a movement, and like I said, I think a movement on Twitter isn't real life. You know what I mean? Like, this is just, it could just, like, take a life of its own, but it's not necessarily representative of what, like, most people are feeling. It's just amplified because of social media. But there was a movement of trying to cancel Mr. Potato Head, just like they're trying to get rid of the boys and girls section in toy stores and stuff like that.
Wait, okay.
Show me the movement.
Okay, tell me what you're saying.
Explain that to me.
So
I need receipts.
When I say, I mean, but it could be 2 or 3 people saying it, but if it gets amplified, it doesn't mean that like, that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't necessarily. It could be real without it being real because it's Twitter.
That doesn't make any sense though.
Less than 2% of the world uses Twitter.
Absolutely,
I understand what your point is.
Like if it's amplified, then obviously more than just 2 people feel this way,
true,
right?
Though.
If it's amplified, you say more and more people are getting behind the cause, right? So they're like pretty much amening
and retweeting. I don't think are the same thing.
So explain to me what you mean. So if you're saying 1 or 2 people, that doesn't really.
So it could be like a certain, like say say for example, I want to get rid of something, and it triggers somebody to where they retweet it, and then the blogs want to get on board because they want clicks and all this kind of stuff. So it gets amplified without it actually being like people actually are behind it. It's just like clickbait.
But what's amplified? Are you saying the actual
like an article that says that Mr. Potato Head is not good because it shows it's not gender neutral or whatever.
Did that happen?
There was an article that said that, yeah.
And that's what caused Mr. Potato Head to now do what?
So then Mr. Potato Head had to come out because there was people saying that they're getting rid of Mr. Potato Head. So the Mr. Potato Head or the toy stores, the toy company's Twitter said we are not getting rid of Mr. Potato Head.
Who is the they though? Like, be a little bit more specific for me.
I can't. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like it's just Twitter. I don't consider it real.
Wait, okay. Actually, I'm wondering right now what you guys are saying, because it almost sounds like you're saying people are retweeting this on Twitter, and it doesn't mean that people necessarily overwhelmingly want cancellation. But you're also saying that nobody's really calling for cancellation. Yeah, so you guys are saying the same thing.
Because what happens is that I just pulled up why Mr. Potato Head is banned, and it says Hasbro created confusion Thursday when it announced that it would simply drop Mr. from Potato Head. And what happens is someone would see that, someone would read that, and then it blows and say, oh, now they want to cancel this and this, and they get all this fake outrage, and nothing is being canceled. A company or a decision has been made by people that own something. And then someone sees that and turns it into something else. So it's not that people calling for Mr. Potato to be canceled. It's that they dropped the Mr. and it's now just Potato Head. And you can make a Mr., you can make a Mrs., you can make a non-binary Potato Head. And that's all that happened.
How did Pepe Le Pew get into this conversation?
Pepe Le Pew, I think, was removed from the Space Jam 2 movie. Like, they did not include him in that. And they looked back on him and I guess how the cartoon was. You can still watch him on Apple TV. You can still watch him. He's just not in that film. Okay. And people start saying that he's going to be canceled now.
Okay, got it.
But you can still watch it.
Got it. So these things are all happening because the company did it first.
Yeah.
And then people are responding to it.
Right.
So just like Lola Bunny is no longer sexy.
Right. Because it's one that shouldn't be.
To be honest with you,
I mean, like,
I don't think I've ever truly seen Space Jam, so I didn't know which one was from this year.
So many times.
I heard it was trash, so
I liked the first one. No, I think some of this year.
They've been teasing this movie for so
years.
long. I just don't know what's real, what's not.
It's real. I mean, I know LeBron James is definitely in the movie, so.
Yeah, he in that, brother. If you don't know nothing else, LeBron gonna be there.
LeBron James is definitely gonna be in Space Jam 2, and he definitely made that movie.
I can't do some things to myself to Lola Bunny. I'll tell you that.
We're not gonna over-sexualize a kid's cartoon, but you know.
Yeah, but I think Devion's right. Like, I think it becomes fake outrage. Like, whatever side, either the left or the right, are gonna make it political, whatever it is. But I truly believe that it's not real. That's what I mean. It's just Twitter.
Do you feel like cancel culture is not real? Because I've said it multiple times that I don't necessarily feel like it's real because Mel Gibson's still in things.
And Woody Allen is still making movies.
Yeah,
it's only as real as you let it. Louis C.K. is still touring.
Yeah, if people want to watch something, they're gonna watch it. Like, honestly, listen, if you got all your millions of dollars and you can still get in front of the TV, people gonna watch you, gonna still get paid. You ain't never gonna be canceled. But
yeah, like Bill Cosby. Could Bill Cosby come back and work?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because people pay to see him.
Kevin Hart
in some way.
Well, what did Kevin Hart do?
Kevin Hart still doing things, and they were left and right talking about his tweets.
Yeah, but all he did was cheat.
No, it's more so the gay thing, yeah.
But those were 10 years ago. And I think he has a certain audience of people who are going to be like, damn, like...
We're not his audience. We're not his... I mean, for me speaking, let's speak for the whole gay...
were years before they caught him.
I mean, but come on. Tweets and rape?
I mean, look.
Allegedly.
OJ still has a hot Twitter. You know what I
Is
mean?
he out?
He's still been on Twitter.
He's been out.
Yeah, he's been out. He's been out there like heavy-handed people on Twitter.
Yeah.
Talking about like
I don't know. I have Twitter.
He has. So I mean, yeah, I think that cancel culture is more of the whole let me sell my whatever through taking a side on cancel, being anti-cancel culture, full cancel, and the same people that will be like anti on one thing will be gung ho on canceling when it's their opponent that's ready to get canceled, right?
Will Andrew Cuomo be canceled?
No.
And this is my problem, and this is one of my because I have another question about with Andrew Cuomo, and this is kind of like a political thing because I think Democrats have a tendency of doing this, which I hate. They have a tendency of like what Al Franken was his name, the bisexual lady whose husband was threatened to put out her sex tapes or something like that. Like really good Democratic senators and governors and people that we have are too quick, I think, to quit or the Democrats are too quick to try to push them out of the way. I think if anything.
Wait, what are you saying?
Because you remember how Al Franken quit because people said he got too handsy, or like how everything's going.
Sending his picture to ladies?
No. That's Anthony Weiner. Anthony Weiner was a Republican. And Andrew Cuomo, what his beef is that people thought he was too flirty. He asked about, right? Am I wrong?
Nah, I think his was like text messages with underage girls.
Was that it?
Who'd you say?
No,
like
Andrew
Cuomo. Oh no, Cuomo stuff is just people saying that
they made him uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, like Cuomo stuff isn't like. I mean,
yeah,
I think it's just. I think because of the nursing home thing, the Democrats have to get him out of here, but they don't want to. They don't want to like claim. They don't want to bring light to the nursing home thing.
Yeah,
so
that came and left.
I don't think they should. I think they should. Everything should always go back to a vote. I think it's like if you want to get someone out of office, the people should vote. You should just have a specialty election.
That's what we're having here with Newsom. Yeah.
Oh, that passed, didn't it?
No, they got enough signatures, but
yeah, I don't think he deserves to be out of office.
But my whole thing with like, it can't like, I think we should have a system where if these things are, if there was sexual assault or whatever it is, he should go to the courts. They should like, he's either guilty or not guilty, and then take care of it that way. Like, absolutely. It shouldn't just be. I agree with like it should be. There should be a process. It can't just be allegations get you out of here.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
And I've read some of the allegations.
Yeah.
You don't want to say.
Don't say your opinion. No,
I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that like based on allegations, right? Let's just say like the lady said, he like touched my thigh. It was like kind of things like that where I'm like, okay, you know, there was one that said that he forced himself to kiss her, like he forced, you know, where then I'm like, okay, I get this one, you know, but the ones where they're like, oh, he touched my shoulder or something like that. That's inappropriate activity, but I really want to be careful about like what that accusation is. Yeah. Because they're really quick to say 30 women have said, you know, but it's like, well, what did 30 women say? You know, same thing is happening with T.I. right now. Is he gonna get canceled?
They don't say cancel. I feel like that word is held accountable. I think is so if it's true and they're held accountable for their actions, that's one thing.
Well,
right?
What is the punishment for things that you don't like?
You don't like? Usually, honestly, I mean, what I found is people rarely lie about it. And this whole T.I. thing and Tiny thing, right? Isn't that they're like having like a sex? I mean, the higher the number goes, the least likely it is to not be true. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I would.
But it's. I mean,
people saying the whole thing about R. Kelly the whole time, and this has been more and more women. Bill Cosby, more and more women.
But there's a difference between illegal activity. Because here's the thing: sexual assault, people don't realize, is a very like broad term. Like when you think sexual assault, I think rape.
Yeah, I do too.
But y'all gotta educate yourself. It's not just that, you know
that,
right?
it was definitely more.
Much more.
Not more. Like I don't want to say more, as in like rape is just one tier of it. But I always thought it was like you held somebody down against their will or something like that. But
what I'm saying,
honest with you,
the point I was trying to make is that rape is super heinous and they need to be thrown underneath the jail.
Right.
You know, like if you rape somebody, that to me there is no like coming back from that. There's no like redemption in my mind, because that is a choice that you are making that is reprehensible. But I don't think. But sexual assault can also be with words, right?
Well, you have sexual assault. You have sexual misconduct. Right.
But what's the lower end of sexual assault?
They're all there's no. I mean, we can't do higher, lower.
What I'm saying is, but that's what I'm saying. Like because that term of sexual assault, I think most people, at least me, I'm thinking rape.
Yeah, I
but if it's not that it's not bad, but I mean, I think that most college kids could say that like you could say in college, like everybody probably had some form of sexual assault, or could have been if I was at a college party and all that, 'cause that stuff's happening all the time. I think at the lower level of just like saying things or like making
it's a possibility. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so I think that all of that gets lumped in together. Like some of the stuff that Cuomo's saying that are being alleged against Cuomo is not anywhere to rape.
Yeah,
but they're trying to use that as. They're trying to put him in that same category. Yeah.
That's what I thought, because I saw the headlines that said like 30 women are alleging that he sexually harassed them. In my mind, I was like, damn, he raped 30 women.
That's in your mind. All you gotta do is do a little light reading to understand that it's
like,
not
but
that.
The thing is, like, the way it's explained on the big screen, when you see the big words, 30 women come forward against him, claims of sexual blah blah blah. Yes, when I read it, that's when I'm like, like, how do I feel about this? What does this mean? What happens from here? You know? But the big words, the ones that they are purposefully trying to make you see, are 30 women, sexual assault. And when you see that, you're like,
right. Or sexual allegations or anything sexual, but sexual doesn't mean sex.
It doesn't have to mean physical.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is that I think that when you hear sexual misconduct, sexual assault, sexual anything, you're thinking physical, dominating, rape. I think that's what the common person thinks.
I have a hard time getting, like, when we're talking about specific acts, right? Of sexual misconduct, sexual assault, or anything like that, because all it does is take a little bit of light reading. No matter how you hear it, you recognize it. Okay, so let me know exactly what they did if you can read it. Mm-hmm. We sometimes get lost in talking about, we should phrase this way, phrase it that way, phrase this way, instead of saying, what actually happened, and looking into seeing it. And college is pretty much the what's coming out as a big
petri dish
for rape, I guess. Yes. That's where it all happened. Culture, right? Rape culture, right? So it's I've learned that you should almost always believe the victim until they tell you not to.
See,
until they're proven guilt, until they're proven otherwise.
See, I mean that, but then.
I didn't say you should be counseled. I didn't say
due process.
Yeah.
But I said until proven otherwise.
I think that a lot of this stuff should be handled outside of the public eye, because you make an allegation, you actually have to. Even if you are not convicted, mm-hmm. that reputation of the allegation sticks with that person much longer than you don't get that, like, those headlines out. You don't get that outside. You're always going to be, if you Google that person's name, that's going to come up.
Even if they're, like, it's proven or whatever. Because look at this. Like, Danny Masterson, he was on That 70s Show.
Yep. And The Ranch.
He got arrested, and he could be facing X amount of decades in prison for something that happened in 2001 and 2003. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, how do we prove that? You know, how do we say in good conscience, I'm going to put this person away for 40 years, for 20 years, for 30 years, for something that happened 20 years ago, but there has to be a process where we are
That's
as
what the
sure
courts
as
are
possible.
for, though.
Say it again?
That's why you take the court. That's why you have our lawyers and everything.
I understand
because just because it happened in the past doesn't mean it didn't happen.
If they
and
did,
there is
he
no
should be punished.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and that's what
It's
the
just
court
like,
is for.
But
I feel like when they take it to that public stratosphere, like they're just hoping that the allegation is enough.
No, I don't think they're hoping for that. I know that it in some way helps because now public opinion has a way in which our courts are ran. And if you are a public figure in the courts, if you're a public figure in anything, you do anything if you're a public figure, no matter if it's so bad as killing someone or rape or anything like that, you can fucking wear the wrong outfit. Mm-hmm. People are going to be up in arms about anything that you do for a public figure. So it's just going to be heightened anyway. Mm-hmm. If you talk about Brock Turner, who was Brock Turner? Brock Turner was the one who raped that girl behind the mailbox, behind the garbage bin, and got 2 months? Yeah, because the judge didn't want to ruin his future, and he raped this. I don't think so. It just was one girl. So it's always gonna be a give and take. But the thing is, when you're a celebrity, everything's gonna be heightened. I mean, Nat Turner,
Robinson.
You know what I'm talking about with the yeah. Even him, you know what I mean? He was accused, and Casey Affleck, he was accused. He's still making movies. Like,
I guess there are some people that like
it just. But because I think that.
How do people?
I think that it could be problematic when it's just believe all victims.
Potentially.
Until proven.
But you could gain celebrity out of being a victim these days.
Who? Name one.
Monica Lewinsky.
How was Monica Lewinsky?
She didn't get a book deal and become like super popular.
Okay, she lost her job, wouldn't get hired by anybody else. She sold her story. She may be now.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like you.
But
could,
you think that she?
Celebrity. All
come on, bro. Bill Clinton is just as bad.
I agree.
He abused his power. He was the president. He had this intern come in.
But that's not what we're saying. That's
rape.
Not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, but that wasn't the point. The point is you could gain celebrity out of being a victim. Like so you could get onto interviews. You could get into magazines. You could get onto all this kind of stuff. And if you have a target, if you have a target that's rich, you're saying it's not possible.
I'm not saying it. I'm just a little uncomfortable, but
I'm saying that doesn't mean that there aren't actual victims. But to see, do you remember the Duke lacrosse case?
No, enlighten me.
So there was a party with the Duke lacrosse team, and this girl had come out that said that she was at a party, and that the Duke lacrosse team raped her. So it went to court, and they proved that this was absolutely not true. That there was no rape, there was nothing like even close to rape with this girl. But the whole Duke lacrosse, they lost their scholarships. They obviously were in the news for, their reputations were ruined, all this kind of stuff, and they can't get that back. They can't get those years back that they lost because of playing.
It's very similar to the Central Park 5, where like somebody accused somebody of doing something, and throughout whatever the process was, people who did not, and that the before I continue, that is not the majority of the cases,
right?
But these are things that do happen,
right?
And I do feel a certain kind of way sometimes about like me personally passing immediate judgment because I've heard an allegation. Like I'm not immediately gonna jump to kill this person, jail.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
And I'm not saying that you're saying that. But I feel that way when I hear an allegation. It makes me feel a certain kind of way where I'm like, okay, I don't want to be the person that says like, well, let's hear both sides, because it almost makes me feel like.
But you have to.
But yeah, I mean, you have to, right? But like, if you say that out loud, it kind of makes it seem like, well, you're not taking this person seriously, when it's like,
you have to be able to be articulate and kind of know a little bit more of
what happened,
like of your facts. You don't say things like girls are just looking for people to pin rape on, usually, because that just.
But what I'm saying is,
I heard your story about the lacrosse team. I know that is something that happens that should be punishable with jail time. Claiming false rape in some states is a crime, and it should be.
It hurts actual victims,
just like rape hurts victims.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. And with the Central Park Five, it was more so that she was attacked, and she blamed. There was a racist thing. She blamed black dudes. She couldn't see who it was. She blamed black, so that's a whole different kind of thing because she actually was attacked. Right, she didn't see her. She didn't see her attacker. Right. So I'm not saying that. Oh yeah.
But I think the issue is more on the other side of like quickly saying, yeah, that's it. You know what I'm saying?
No, listen. I mean, if you're accused of something, or if someone is accused, I think the first thing to do is to take a step back and to one, look at what you did, look at what the person did. If I was accused, I take a step back and take some time and just figure it out. I go through the process. It's not like a defensive thing right away. It's like, let's go through the process. Let's see what happened, because sometimes two people can be in one room and even those two people not be on the same page.
And sure,
that is why we are trying to kind of change how we think about consent, how we think about sex, and how we think about sexual conduct. Because usually we have our wires crossed in a lot of different things, and we want to make sure that we get that right.
Yeah, society needs,
and that's what we're doing.
Let me ask you guys a question then. In this current day and age, do you feel like you are less, I don't want to say, less assertive when it comes to dealing with people in a romantic sense, and that kind of, is this thing in the back of your mind, like, I really am not trying to do anything that, could potentially be seen as treating people wrong?
You're more self-conscious.
Mm-hmm.
I deal with different types of people now. I'm very much in tune with the type of people that I'm dealing with. Like, I gotta make sure I know before it gets to any kind of level like that, because I do think that things are hypersensitive, and not in a bad way. I think that it's because it's been the other opposite end for so long, that it's like been like on a balance. Like, it's been so long not taken, not given the proper credit that it should, and not be validated the way that it should. I think it's maybe tipping to another extreme in certain cases, but it's gonna even out eventually, because I think what Devion's saying, I agree with him. Like, into the sense that it needs to be due process, but the only thing that I disagree is that we need to believe all women, no matter what.
Or people, yeah.
Because the problem is...
all people, because we don't know if they're victims 100% yet.
But, like, on the other end, could be a victim as well if it is a false allegation. And now they have to prove that they're innocent for something that they didn't do. And to act like that isn't a reality, or that can't be... That famous people or celebrities can't be targets, I think is also not that we need to be like, we need to like protect our celebrities, nothing like that, but I'm just saying, like, human nature is human nature. Like, there are vindictive people of all men, women, races, socioeconomic levels, and to act like that's not real, like, we just have to, like you said, not be quick to judge either way.
I think that's my biggest thing, is like, I'm personally trying not to pass judgment on people immediately. I understand, and I'm a big, like, forgiveness person in general. Even if it may not have been done to me, I understand, like, hey, if you did a crime and you did something, your punishment awaits you. But at the same time, I'm not immediately going to say, hey, this person is of no use to the world
don't throw
anymore,
people away. No, don't do that.
I believe a lot in people, and I believe in
redemption,
in evolution. I believe in all these things where
evolution,
the evolution of people,
the
evolution of people. Like, I say, no. I believe in the evolution of people, because I believe that you may have done something a long time ago, and then you learn your lesson, and you did your time and all that kind of stuff. Like, I believe in it.
For example, Chris D'Elia.
Mm-hmm.
He just
he's nasty.
He came back with his show.
He came back with a show?
Yeah. He's doing his podcast again.
Who is?
Chris D'Elia. He was out there doing some nasty things with some kids.
Comedian guy.
What did he do? What was he accused of?
Texting and supposedly maybe
child pornography?
Nah, no, nothing like that, but just like grooming, I guess you could say.
Like R. Kelly. He R. Kelly.
Nah, I mean, look, R. Kelly is a different extreme. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like Chris D'Elia was supposedly having consensual, like he's a comedian on tour having sex with everybody, right? And some of these girls may or may not have been barely legal or maybe not legal. And so that's what there's some girls that came out and said I was 17 when I had sex with him, stuff like that, right?
17 can be legal in some states. Actually.
Exactly. And I
that's
think
how
in Connecticut,
R. Kelly
I think
is.
yeah. But like that's what I'm saying. Like I think that's the issue, right? Because saying that he's R. Kelly.
No. I was making a comparison to something that I know. You said grooming,
but that's what I'm saying.
I was just trying to make a yeah.
No,
so
it's not, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. What happened with R. Kelly of him like predatory behavior, actually going to high schools looking for certain girls, like all this kind of stuff that's going on is much different than girls slipping into your DMs when you're on tour in their city and not maybe or maybe not knowing how old they are or whatever the case may be. And not saying that it's right or wrong, but I'm saying that's where I'm thinking. Like, that's why when we talked about the whole sexual assault thing going to rape, like I think R. Kelly is the ultimate extreme pedophile, marrying Aaliyah when she was like 14, 15 years old.
But child marriage is legal in most states in the USA, and he had her mom's consent to do it. So you like.
But I'm not going by legality. I'm going by morality.
But you can't go by legality. You cannot just throw R. Kelly on the bus and then say the same thing about this white dude and say and say, oh no, but he's so much better even though he did it this way.
I didn't say
R. Kelly did
so
it
much
this
better.
way. It's like
it's not the same. It's not like.
Okay.
I didn't know that he slept with the kids.
That's what nobody
D'Elia.
knows.
No, I thought he was just texting him.
That's
he said in his apology video, which was right before he came back with his podcast, was that every single girl he's had sex with was 100% consensual and they were all of age.
He said that it was nothing was illegal.
Oh, nothing was illegal.
And that's where that's where what Devion's saying is maybe they were underage, but it was legal in that state.
That's kind of how Kelly got around a lot of it because the girls were legally in a lot of those states. But I would say, just for future references, be open to talking about consent. Just like always get yes, always no. I mean, I ain't with nobody. I'm a big asshole. And
I heard about you.
You heard me in my room banging a headboard. No, but just
you don't have a headboard.
I don't. This is my head. This is my head on the window.
I actually want to know this about you because you're the only gay guy here, and guys are like aggressive and assertive by nature. So, do you feel like you're like, let me not do this. Let me like ask him.
With me, it's different. I mean, I'm very open about. I'm very open about sex. Like I'm a very open person, very honest with whoever I'm around, and I'm very open and honest with my intentions. Right. So even if I have a friend say, "Yeah, I do want to sleep with you,"
you tell them.
Oh, absolutely. I assume everybody wants to sleep with me anyway.
She was that lucky.
So I would say that.
If I say that to a girl, I would have to switch around real quick. No, I meant like nap.
No, but I think unless if a person does not want you, then that is that no. If they're like, nah, I'm good, then they're good. If they're giving you a cold shoulder, you know when someone doesn't want you. Especially if you go to a lot of parties, you drink a lot and things like that. The more open and honest you are, the easier your life will be, I think.
But some people are getting in trouble for stuff like that, right?
For stuff like what?
If a guy walked up to a girl.
I'm not walking up to a random person and just saying, hey, I want to fuck.
I'm saying like.
Oh, I thought you
were. These are people I've built rapport with, people I've been knowing.
But I'm saying like, let's say with the Cuomo stuff. So, if I remember right, some of the allegations are just like he showed like interest in me.
He's a man in power, though, too. That has a play to
That's
it.
the thing.
When you're a person of power and you can hire these people, and these people are working for you, working under you. His daddy was a governor. When you're in this position and you can hold something over somebody's head, kind of like Weinstein, kind of like Cosby, kind of like Louis C.K. Like all these people have power. They have moves to make. Bill Clinton, all of this. So that plays a part.
Got to date.
Powerless people, what?
They got to date each other.
I guess. I don't know. I got power, bitch. I'm just playing.
The power thing, I think, if he didn't say, yo, if you want a promotion, you got to do X, Y, and Z. I don't know, because, like, if he doesn't say that, and you just say, well, he's the governor and I work for him, that power thing is not really in play.
You're a man, though. I don't think you ever will be in that situation where you would feel or you would get those type of advancements from your boss who may look over you, or this person that does this or do that. I mean, I can't even speak to it because I'm not a woman and haven't been to those spaces before, and kind of know. I don't know how that feels. I know how it feels to be hit on by someone who maybe wants to buy me a drink or something, but I don't know the details of that because that's not my world. So all I can do is listen to what other women that I know, other friends, tell me how that situation is and see it from their lens.
Man, powerful people got to stay with powerful people. If you broke, date a broke person. That's it.
Or just do yourself.
Just don't be attracted to people that aren't on your level.
Ask about
Bye.